In the depths of a moonless night, when even the stars seemed to cower behind a veil of inky clouds, Inspector Thorne stood at the edge of the Whispering Woods, his lantern casting a sickly pallor upon his gaunt visage. The date, scrawled in his trembling hand, read October the 13th, an hour when decent folk should be abed, not venturing into the maw of arboreal madness. "We have discovered the final missive of young Timothy Blackwood," Thorne intoned, his voice a rasp of autumn leaves. The boy's journal, found beneath a gnarled oak, bears but a single entry, penned with such frantic urgency that the page is torn. "The forest has teeth, and I am its morsel." The search party, a ragtag assemblage of local constables and hardy woodsmen, peered into the gloom. The trees loomed before them, their branches like grasping fingers, their trunks twisted in silent screams. As they stepped beyond the threshold of civilization, the very air seemed to thicken, clinging to their skin like a funeral shroud. Constable Merriweather, a man of stolid disposition, suddenly halted, his boots sinking into soil that pulsed with an unholy rhythm. "Inspector," he whispered, his words barely audible above the forest's sinister susurration, "I fear we tread upon ground that was not meant for mortal feet." Their lanterns illuminated a clearing that defied all cartographic logic, for it existed on no map known to man. At its center lay a circle of stones, each bearing carvings that writhed and shifted when viewed askance. The men averted their eyes lest madness claim them, yet they could not escape the sensation of being watched by countless unseen observers. As they pressed onward, the forest seemed to close in around them, the path behind vanishing as surely as if it had never been. The branches above knit together, forming a canopy that blocked out what little starlight dared penetrate this realm of shadow. And in that Stygian gloom, they heard a sound that was not the wind, nor any beast known to science, but the labored breathing of the woods themselves. "We are not alone," Thorne murmured, his hand instinctively reaching for the cold comfort of his revolver. No sooner had the words left his lips than a cry pierced the night, a sound of such anguish that it could only have been torn from a soul in the throes of damnation. They found Constable Hawthorne, or what remained of him, sprawled at the base of an ancient elm. His uniform hung in tatters as though rent by claws of impossible size. But it was his face that drew their horrified gaze, for where his eyes once were, twin pools of viscous sap now glistened, reflecting the trembling light of their lanterns. Merriweather retched, his composure finally shattered. "This is no work of man or beast," he gasped between heaves. "We have stumbled into a realm where nature's laws hold no sway." As if in response to his blasphemous utterance, the forest floor began to undulate, rippling like the surface of a pond disturbed by some leviathan rising from the depths. The men scrambled for higher ground, their boots slipping on moss that seemed to writhe beneath them. In their panic, they failed to notice the figure that flitted between the trees, a wraith-like form that moved with unnatural grace. It was Thorne who first caught sight of her, a woman in tattered white, her hair a cascade of leaves and twigs. But as she turned, they saw that her face was a mask of bark, her eyes glowing with an eldritch light. "Timothy?" she called, her voice a mockery of maternal concern. "Timothy, my dear, where have you wandered?" The search party froze, caught between the horror behind and the abomination before them. Thorne, summoning what courage remained, stepped forward. "Madam," he began, his voice quavering, "we seek a lost child." "Have you?" His words were cut short as the woman's form suddenly elongated, her arms stretching like willow branches, fingers sprouting twigs that reached for the inspector's throat. Merriweather's pistol barked once, twice, but the bullets passed through her as if she were made of mist. Chaos erupted. Men scattered, their cries of terror swallowed by the hungry dark. Thorne found himself alone, his lantern extinguished, surrounded by a forest that seemed to pulse with malevolent life. From the gloom came whispers, a cacophony of voices that spoke of ancient hungers and the folly of man. "We are the watchers in the wood," they hissed. "We are the roots that drink deep of forgotten fears. You are trespassers here, morsels for our endless appetite." Thorn ran, heedless of direction, his only thought to escape the madness that closed in around him. Branches whipped at his face, roots rose to trip his feet, and all the while, the voices pursued him, growing louder with each frantic step. Dawn found him stumbling from the tree line, his uniform in tatters, his mind fractured by the horrors he had witnessed. At the police station, he spoke but once, his voice a hollow echo of its former self. The forest remembers. It knows our names, and it hungers still. In the days that followed, search parties ventured into the Whispering Woods, seeking signs of the lost men. They found nothing, no bodies, no equipment, not so much as a boot print in the loamy soil. It was as if the forest had swallowed them whole, leaving no trace of their passage. Yet sometimes, on nights when the moon hides its face and the wind whispers its secrets best left unspoken, locals swear they see lights dancing between the trees. And if one listens closely, they might hear the laughter of children or the desperate cries of men long lost to the hungry dark. As for Inspector Thorne, he was found 1 week later in the evidence room, Timothy Blackwood's journal clutched to his chest. His eyes, once sharp with intellect, now stared blankly, reflecting nothing but the verdant shadows of a place no man was meant to tread. And on the final page of the journal, written in a hand not his own, were words that chilled the blood of all who read them. "The search is ended. The forest has claimed its own. Let all who value their souls stay clear of the Whispering Woods. For we who dwell within are always watching, always waiting, always hungry for those foolish enough to venture where they do not belong." And so the Whispering Woods remain, a dark blot on the map, a place where the veil between worlds grows thin, and where the unwary may find themselves lost not just in space, but in the very fabric of reality itself. For in those shadowed glades, where the trees whisper ancient secrets and the ground thirsts for mortal blood, there are horrors beyond imagining, and once you enter, you may never truly leave.